We are less than 1 week away from the NFL draft, and today we have a very interesting update into one of the players the Eagles may select at 10. Also, Jonathan Gannon running his mouth about Eagle fans, really? What is going on, everybody? Welcome into A to Z Philly, your number one home for Eagles coverage. Hit the like button if you enjoy this content. Be sure to subscribe and also hit that bell down below. That way you don't miss any of the coverage. We will be breaking all of it down live next week for the NFL draft right here on the show. So be sure to come through or be back again, bringing you the latest from the link today. And we have something to talk about as it relates to the Eagles draft, as well as one of the former coaches taken to the camera to talk some smack about Eagle fans. You do not want to miss what both of these people had to say. But before we get into it and break it right down, shout out to the sponsor of today's video, BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using code ATOZPA and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, and player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. Find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today with bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Pennsylvania only. New customer offer. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's start off with the man himself, Jonathan Gannon. I didn't think I'd have to hear about him anymore. I thought he was done. But we got one more hoorah. Jonathan Gannon took to the podium, took to the little press conference here as the Arizona Cardinals were doing their jersey reveal yesterday. And of course, he started to chime in about Philadelphia Eagle fans. Here's what Jonathan Gannon had to say. Quote, "Philly is a really tough market. We were 9-0 and they wanted me fired. We were the number one defense in every category. Why do you want me fired? Oh, you don't blitz enough. We led the league in sacks. You want to come call the defense? Have at it." Initially, this strikes me as a guy that really never fit in Philadelphia. If this is your mindset, if this is what you perceive from Eagle fans getting loud or getting rowdy, then you honestly don't understand the fan base or the city at all. I do agree with Jonathan Gannon that it is a tough city to coach in, and you knew that coming into it. You were on the Viking staff when they got blown away in the NFC Championship game years ago, where the Eagles went on to win the Super Bowl. So you understood that, you knew that, you came here. But now Jonathan Gannon is blatantly lying. He is lying. Here's my first piece of proof. Shout out to Jeff Kerr putting this on Twitter. He says, "I looked at every single transcript from November 2022 involving Jonathan Gannon pressers. Texans win 8-0, no blitzing questions. Commanders lost 8-1, no blitzing questions. Colts win 9-1, no blitzing questions. Packers win 10-1, no blitzing questions." So now Jonathan Gannon's out here lying. The Eagles media didn't drill him as hard as they should have. And obviously the Eagles were the best team in the NFL at that time, but there were still concerns. There was still noise coming up throughout the year. You know, Gannon doesn't do this enough. It's going to bite them. It's going to bite them down the road. And oh, what do you know? The biggest flaw of Jonathan Gannon ended up losing the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I was a big non-believer in Jonathan Gannon after last season, not this season that just happened, but the year before. And then he came back and, you know, the Eagles were good. They obviously upgraded their personnel. And I will admit, come playoff time, I was believing in Jonathan Gannon because in those playoff games, in those first two, you know, he was pushing every button correctly. And that's my one thing with Jonathan Gannon. It's not that, oh, he always didn't blitz enough, or, oh, he didn't do this enough. It's just that he never adjusted. Here's what happened to Jonathan Gannon the year before. He talks about being 9-0 when they had all the personnel. Well, how about the year before, Gannon, when at one point, I believe it was week 11 or 12, the Eagles were letting up the highest completion percentage in NFL history. I think it was like 85%. All the quarterbacks, I can remember all the games. Derek Carr, I think Rodgers was in there, Brady, Prescott, all of these guys were literally cooking your defense, and you did not make one tad or one adjustment to fix that. And that's what people were frustrated with. Here are some of the numbers, as you can see. I mean, Mahomes, Herbert, Prescott, Carr, it was too easy. 91% completion? Come on, man, that can't happen. So Jonathan Gannon's out here complaining about Eagle fans. And to be quite honest, not to hate on him, I'm happy that he got a job. He his success paid off. But at the end of the day, I still can't believe he got hired because there's just no way that I see him being a successful head coach. Arizona coming off a really bad year. I don't see how he can be better than Cliff Kingsbury. I really don't see it. And he doesn't really know much about offense. I don't know if he knows a lot about defense. So we'll see how that plays out. But Gannon not off to a good start there in Arizona. Anyway, let's talk about some draft stuff. Let's get into some more positive stuff. Bijan Robinson, as we have talked about many times here on this show the last couple months, we made a whole breakdown video on Bijan. He's going to be a generational prospect and player, as many believe, obviously the number one running back in this class. And here's what he had to say in an interview a couple days ago about what teams he is visiting with.
How many interviews have you done? How many teams you met with?
I've been to two teams. And like for official visits to their city, only two teams.
And those teams are?
The Eagles and the Buccaneers are the two teams I met with. But I've been
So I don't know, whether to take this at face value. I mean, maybe he could be bluffing or lying, but I really don't see the point of that. But the Eagles are one of the teams that officially met with Bijan Robinson. And again, they are there at 10. When you look at this, man, I mean, could they actually go out and take a running back? They saying this guy's going to be all world. Obviously, the Eagle fan base has been vocal about it. And I'm telling you, Howie Roseman and the front office, they chime in and listen to the Eagles fan base. It has been happening for years now. Could Howie do it, though? As I've said originally, I just don't see it happening. It's not in his DNA. It's not his MO to go out and take a first-round running back. Maybe Howie could trade up from 30, to the mid-20s if he's still available, maybe take him. I don't know if he's going to go as high as people say, because when you look at running backs nowadays, obviously they usually don't get a second contract. They definitely don't from the Philadelphia Eagles, and they kind of have, their lifespan, and the wear and tear is crazy, and then they're done, right? Look at some of the guys like Zeke, for example. I don't know about Bijan Robinson at number 10. I think if the Eagles traded up with their second pick, there is a chance, but I don't know if he's going to be available because they're saying this guy is going to be all world. One of these running backs that's like a Derrick Henry type, with how dominant he is every single Sunday. What he fit the Eagles offense with Jalen Hurts and, all these widespread options. I don't know that either. I mean, if him on this team is obviously a positive, it makes them better. I just don't know with the volume of touches he's expecting and what the Eagles are expecting out of their backs. Obviously, they run a committee. I don't know if it's the right fit, but it is interesting if he is true and telling the truth here that the Eagles and Bucs are the only two teams that he has met with. Now, Bijan Robinson had a meeting apparently with Howie Roseman, and this is what really got me excited. This is why I like this guy. You guys know from listening to my draft breakdown so far, I like the IQ. I like the personality traits because I do believe obviously you have to have a certain skill level. But if you are a good player and also a good person and you show that maturity like a Jalen Hurts, right? The fact that he's always coming into work early and he's growing, he's maturing, and he's so humble, things like that, those resonate well in a locker room with other players, with other grown men, with an organization. And here's what Bijan Robinson said to Howie Roseman, according to ESPN, quote, "You are not going to get a running back. You are going to get a difference maker." Bijan says Howie told him, quote, "It was one hell of a pitch," and says he was encouraged with how it went, but you can never know. Howie talked about it the other day, and he kind of left it up in the air as well in his press conference. So I still don't believe that Howie's going to do it, but I like when guys say things like this. I think Bijan believes he is going to be a difference maker every single Sunday, as many do. The difference is he has the skill set to do it, and it all depends on the fit and the scheme within the Eagles offense. Now, again, I still believe they're going to go trenches. I think there's other needs, right? Maybe a guy to help in the secondary or a linebacker or something like that. But you never know. That is true. You never, ever know with Howie Roseman. He's drafted from the top programs the last couple years. He has drafted guys you didn't expect, and they have all pretty much worked out well. Here's what Daniel Jeremiah of ESPN said. He used to work in the Eagles organization about Bijan coming to Philadelphia. Quote, "I worked in the Eagles organization for 2 years, and if there's such thing as less than a 0% chance that it happens, that is the case there in Philadelphia." I would tend to lean this way as well. I don't see it happening. I don't think Howie's willing to push that button. He's been going over the edge. He's had a great offseason, and he just hired Matt Patricia, which nobody would have expected in their right mind given the history with Darius Slay. So if there is a GM that could shock you, as we know on draft night, It is Howie Roseman. But could they actually take Bijan? Either way, I think he's going to have a good career. You know, it all depends how you value the running back position. I don't think it's that necessary on the Eagles' eyes. Obviously, they picked up a couple this offseason. They still have some guys coming back. And Gainwell showed some promise in the playoffs, and he's going to be worth a lot less. And you still have him under contract on the rookie contract for a couple years. So give me your thoughts down below. Do you think it is feasible for the Eagles to go out and draft a potential generational running back in the first round? Give me all your thoughts down below in the comments section. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And with that being said, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.